How do you come back from that?
You don't.
Okay.
You don't.
Hey, own it.
You just let it ride. What is up, guys? My name is Francis. This is the Colecast. I don't have my stats and data. Evan didn't do his job preparing me, so I have no idea what day it is. I don't know what episode it is. And look, my shirt's all... It's bad. We're in dire straits here. Send shirts, 516 Meridian Street, Anderson, Indiana. I need them. Sponsor me, shirt companies. Sponsor me. Today's going to be a very special episode. We got a commonly mentioned, commonly talked about, very, very good friend of the company that was on a business trip, able to stop by on his way through the state. And we are going to talk about things and stuff. And some of the things that me and Nathan have talked about kind of sparked a conversation that Jeff wanted to have. So I'm actually going to let Jeff take the reins here a little bit.
Thanks for having me. No, I really appreciate it.
Yeah. You are one of the first guests that we had on, you and David.
Yeah.
And I think before we'll talk about Warriors Way, and I want to plug that as much as we can every time we can. I want to talk about that first interview when we invited you guys out and we were like, yeah, let's have Dave on the podcast. And you were like, I can bring him. And we didn't have as good of a relationship at the time. And we were like, oh, Jeff's going to bring him. We didn't understand that you were like, I'm going to bring him. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, it was like a 50-50.
Yeah.
Game time decision.
He's gotten a lot better at public speaking. We've seen videos posted now of him talking in front of like Lions clubs and,
Dude, the program that we have has not only changed his life, but it is really the model for which we are striving for. Mm-hmm. When I first met him, he couldn't be in a group. Even still, years into the program, like 3.5 years ago, plus or minus now, I forget. I kind of lost my stats.
Yeah.
But he couldn't go into a room with large groups of people because he couldn't assess the threat. Mm-hmm. Like, they are trained to do that, and when you go over there and you live a different lifestyle and you are literally being blown up, he was blown up 9 times in 3 tours.
9 times. The man didn't have heels when he left for deployment.
Yeah, he's got bolts. He's missing part of his hand. We play this fun game of don't pick up things that are hot with David, starring David, because, well, I have dainty hands, but that's besides the point. But, like, literally,
soft hands, boy.
We went to Blade Show when actually that was the day I met you.
Mm-hmm.
And he literally sat at that table because we had gotten a table because we, had the grand illusion of we're going to sell everything and fund it for 2 years and all the good things. Well, we didn't sell a dang thing. Mm-hmm. And it was probably the right thing because then we ended up using those as gifts to all of the people that have sponsored us throughout the year. But at the end of the day, he literally sat there, didn't talk to anybody until the last day. And if you know me, I do a lot of the talking.
No.
I know, it's a surprise. But literally, that I followed him and Peter Bruno. He's like, let me introduce you to all these people. He took Dave around to no less than 7-8 people. Mm-hmm. And if you know Dave at that time, that was a lot for him.
Yeah.
Like, to go from sitting at the table looking like you kicked his dog and he was upset, he was just coping. Like, literally, he was working on his coping mechanisms. We met Jeff Jansen. He helps us with our handle scales. Mm-hmm. He sends boxes at a time. But those two connected on a level that was unreal. Mm-hmm. And that has been the platform of what we base our program on and what you can become, how we can help you. Because then we went back this year for Blade Show. Palmgren, one of our sponsors, had us in the booth with them. I was out doing my thing, going like a kid in a candy store, talking to all friends, making new friends, all the things. I left him in the booth.
Yeah.
And not only was he helping sell tools with the Palmgren team there, but he ventured out and started talking to people that we've met that are our sponsors, that are our friends. And literally, we lost the lights, but that's okay. I'm still here. Okay. So, no, just talking about the progression that Dave has made in 2 years alone. Mm-hmm. And then you go back home in that 2 years. We do a lot of speaking, him and I together. We have to fundraise for everything. So we're going to talk to local groups, you know, the VFWs and the city and Allen County, you know, chamber, the Activate Allen County. We speak in front of an entire group to, you know, for a Chili for Charity cook-off. We've won it twice.
Nice.
Just with the story and the passion that we have. And
Not because of the chili? You don't make the best chili?
No, they bring chili in.
You should make the chili.
I don't make chili. I can make fried rice though. That's a thing. That's a thing for me. It's a good thing. My family loves it. I'll make you some. But he does those things, and before, maybe even a year ago, I would know instinctually when to speak because we had like an unwritten social cue where he'd kind of like say something and then look at me, and then I knew. But I had to be ready to pick up the conversation at any time, any moment for what he's saying. So it's kind of funny the amount of conversations we have prior to these things.
Well, even so, flashback, we'll talk about when I met you guys because David had already named the forge you were working at after Andy.
Yeah.
And so he comes up and he's like, hey, guys, I have one of your presses. And then, you know, it does the I'm not saying any more thing.
Yeah.
And my first instinct was like, oh, God, he has a problem. And then you jump in and you're like, hey, this is what we want to do. Hey, we want to partner with you. We want to do this. We want to do that. We want to do that. And it was just like, we had just gone through this thing where we were kind of gearing up to work with the veterans organization to find out that it was a scam.
Oh.
So we sent...
That makes all of the sense. And the
response. Yeah.
Yes.
We sent Lucas after you.
He's a giant, by the way.
Yeah. We were like, hey, thank you so much for being a customer. I tried to be very cordial about it without saying no straight out of the gate.
I didn't leave for like 3 hours.
But I texted Logan. I said, hey, I need you to grab Lucas for a second. And I need, you know, pardon the pun, but I need Lucas to vet these guys because we were fixing up to work with somebody and it turned out to be a scam. So not so much a scam, just I didn't like...
not good with what they're doing.
Exactly.
They weren't being honorable. Like there were funky things that were happening.
Yes.
A lot of questions in gray areas.
Yes.
Which is no good for...
And within 5 minutes, Lucas came back and he was like, good to go. Give them everything they want.
That was funny because by the time he got there, the booth was full because Josh was doing his go around to all the machinery.
Start to finish, yeah.
Start to finish, make a blade. He was in the process of using the induction forge and the... it doesn't matter the press. I think it was a 16 or 20. No, it was a dual.
Double-sided.
It was a double-sided.
25 and 16. We don't offer it. Let me know in the comments if we should.
You should, because it's an amazing piece of equipment that allows you to do two totally different things. But so the booth is crazy busy, and all of a sudden, this guy comes out of nowhere and like didn't pull me out of the group. He just like I'm talking belly button to belly button.
There's no way you went belly button to belly button with Lucas O'Hare.
Well, belly button to like my chest.
Yes, belly button to nose.
And he literally said, "So I'm supposed to talk to you. Tell me about your program." And like he's literally like hovering over me because it's so busy and like staring down at me, and I'm just like this, like I'm a little 2-year-old talking
Uppies daddy,
talking to my parents. So this is what we do, blah 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 blah. And he goes, I said, "Well, Dave's here if you want to meet him." What? I said, "Yeah, if you don't mind walking across the whole show." "Well, I don't care. Let's go." We tear off through, and Lucas flat out ignores like almost 3/4 of the people that tried to stop him. Like he was on a mission and he was following me. We were talking, we get over to Dave and Dave starts talking to him about the thing. And I'm like, honestly, Lucas, I'm done because I just introduced Dave to people.
Yeah.
This is who you need to talk to. This is the program. This is it. You don't need sold. He's the one that you need to talk to.
Yeah.
And that was it.
And 5 minutes later, you're back at the booth.
Of course.
With a knife in hand. Handing it to me. I just want to say thank you for everything you've done for us. And I was like, I haven't done anything. I haven't done nothing.
And at the time, it was the past. Dave had some issues. Nobody gave him a hard time.
Yeah.
They took care of it, made it
Well,
right.
he called and he was like, hey, I'm having some issues. And they were like, okay, well, you can check this or that. And he was like, nope, I'm already in the car. I'll see you in an hour. And they were like, what? He was like, yeah, I'm just going to bring it back. It's way easier. And they were like, yeah, it is. How far are you driving? It's like 2.5 hours.
Okay.
I guess. He came. Dave is lovely. Dave is not standoffish. He's he's just quiet.
He just has that RBF.
Yeah, he
doesn't mean it. Like he doesn't have anything to say in the moment. And when he does, he says it and he's done.
But you invited us out to a couple events. You guys came and picked up a press that you guys had got funding for. And because of who you are, we worked out a little bit to be able to quote unquote sponsor you. And it's our honor to be able to give back to you. And I do want to address this because you're physically here. We don't do a veterans discount. We don't do a first responders discount. And it is specifically because we have taken what we would donate directly to those makers and we pour that into things like Warrior's Way. We've worked with Black Horse just a little bit. We don't have a blanket statement because we see the results coming out of what you guys are doing. And I don't want to, I don't want to say like, oh, this other guy doesn't deserve it or anything like that. But we pick and choose
You have to.
No,
and not for the wrong reasons. You have to because there are so many things out there. We'll just say things.
I wish I could give a press to everybody.
If you did, you go belly up.
Right.
And if they are truly a program, they should have some money. And it's about investing in the program, which is what we talked to you about. We wanted your friendship. We wanted your support. We wanted the connections to the community so that people would stop looking at us like, are you even a legit organization?
Yeah.
Or are you just two yahoos in a garage taking all the material you get and selling things for yourself on the side? And it's like, no, actually, I was talking to one of the newer people we have, Pay It Forward.
Yeah.
Brian Gossert, who was there for
awesome.
2 months of solid work every day, almost 6 to 7 days a week.
If you told me he slept in his truck in the parking lot, I would believe you.
It felt like it because every time I call in, they were working.
Yep.
And I forgot where I was going with that. No, the programs and just the legitimacy of that. You have to be incredibly careful.
And we've offered you guys specifically, we can work with you on this kind of discount or whatever. And Dave, every time is like, charge me.
Yeah.
Charge me.
And I asked him about that. And he said, Jeff, every time we get something, they're doing it out of the kindness of their hearts. Sometimes we get things that aren't up to par, whatever, and we're fine with it because then it's my job to go in and fix it and make it work.
Yeah.
But that's besides the point, and we're totally cool with it because it's awesome that we have it. He is stopping doing that because we are receiving funding, and we want our program to have the best equipment for our veterans, our first responders, and our youth when they come in. It's not some janky hodgepodge DIY. Not that the DIY is bad. My whole shop
but
is
it's
DIY.
also
it's a program.
It's a program. You have to have safety guards in place, and you have to have the things with. If somebody goes to one of your classes and cuts their finger off because I did something wrong, I have insurance to cover that.
Right, and we do. And
if you cut your finger off because you did something wrong, my insurance will not cover that. Put that on the record. Producer Evan, make that legal. But the other thing that he told me is he had gotten donations in the past, and then when he followed up, hey, this isn't working, or what's the warranty on this? They're like, oh, that was a donation. Get out of my hair. And that's what bummed me out was like, there are two guys specifically right now that in my head pop up that we have donated presses to for very, very, very good reason. If they ever call me and say, hey man, this isn't working the way it is, my mom would pop out of a closet and beat the crap out of me if I was like, sorry, that was a donation. I'm not going to help you now.
See you later.
See you later.
Everything we've talked about on the podcast and at these events and community. Yeah, that's all a lie. Have a nice day.
You know, I won't say broke my heart. That's a little extreme, but it really did bum me out when he was like, I have to pay for things because if it breaks and I'm relying on it, I have to be able to go to them as a customer, not as a donation.
Right.
And I was like, man, that's how people see you.
Yeah. Well, that's how people see everybody. And there's a running joke, like, and I think it's funny. Oh, here comes Jeff. What does he want today? But we love you. But what do you want today?
Yeah.
And it's like, at first I was like, oh, man. is that how people see me? And then it was like, no, we totally love doing stuff for you, but we just wanted to give you a hard time.
Yeah.
Because that's what you do.
Well, we talked about it when we reached out to Best Made about making the axes. We do the OEM forging for Best Made, and it was a shot in the dark. We didn't have an email contact. We didn't have a phone number. There's no like industry insider that we got linked up with the right person. We just messaged their Instagram page, and it was like, well, we'll see if it works.
Oh,
and then everybody was like, Jeff would double message. Jeff would have hit it until he got a response.
I would have. It's sporadically, and that's what I do that's what I do for a living. Is I space out my replies and my asks to where they're comfortable. They're not pestering.
Yeah,
and that's a big difference.
Yeah,
and the tone of when you ask, like that. Yeah, I totally would have double tapped that, and I'd have found a phone number.
But it's this idea of. When you first meet Jeff, everybody listening, when you first meet Jeff, the first thing you understand is nothing that he comes to you with is for his own benefit. Yeah. You could live high on the hog and have all this time with your family and not volunteer to do the things that you do, but you care about people and you care about the world around you and the community that you're interested in, that you're involved in, and you get involved in other communities that you don't really care about because there's people there. Because at the core of who you are, you care about people.
Yeah.
And so it's become this thing where it's like the very first thing you understand is when Jeff comes, he's not asking about himself. Well, he might have talked to Dana last week, and Dana mentioned it would be nice if we had this because as a veteran, I have this insight. And Jeff's like, well, I know the guys at Cole. Let me call them. They can make 5 or 6 guys' lives easier, you know?
Yeah.
I wanted to make it, a big thing. I wanted to see if I could get Dave emotional, but we'll announce it here on the podcast. We're donating a DPC to you guys to match your other 16-ton.
Yeah.
So you guys have a 16-ton with a DPC and a 16-ton without a DPC. I was going to wait for the what do you guys call it now? Because you used to call it the
grudge match.
The grudge
the
match,
expo.
yeah. The expo, okay.
Yeah.
So I was going to do it at the expo because usually there's like news there and stuff, and I wanted to see if I could get a little twinkle in Dave's eye. But
for the record, he has no twinkle in his eye. The military took that from him.
But we want to donate that. It came back. Jason Knight had a fire at his house, and
did the community step up for that?
Right, and we fixed up his press, and he was working with insurance, and didn't know if they were going to cover it or whatever. And I honestly, he started working with Nathan on it after I got a little bit under my head with other stuff. So I don't even know if we had to charge him, if we did it for free. I know that was my thing. I was like, Jason, I just need you to have a working press. Like I don't.
Right.
We'll worry about that later. But here we are a year later, and I still have his DPC. We replaced his, and so it was like, this press literally has been, or the DPC has been through the fire and the flames.
Yeah. And there's a lot to that. We talked about it the other day.
Yeah, there's some symbology there.
Oh, totally.
It's got scorch marks on it.
And I mean, you couldn't have asked for a better gift that has such a profound impact for what we do, taking raw, ugly things, materials, whatever, and turning them. Oh, look at that guy. But taking that and making something that you're proud of, giving people that sense of worth and that hope, and then most of the veterans that come through, their family are like, you made that? Can you make me one?
Right.
I would buy that.
They have to go back.
Can I buy that from you? And it's like all the things, and it's amazing to watch something come back to life that wasn't there when they walked in.
Right.
They didn't speak. Is this going to be a kumbaya session type feeling? Nobody said anything. And then Dave does Dave things where it's dry, and then someone, whether it's him or someone, makes a joke. And then it's on.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like the barracks.
You talk about, okay, this guy comes in and he makes a knife, and then 6 months later, maybe we can get a sentence out of him. And then a year later, we can get a full conversation out of him. That's not even the case. It's literally, they come in, they don't even want to put their name on the paper.
Some of them don't.
They come out and they're standing in front of the garage door and they're kind of peeping around. You're like, come on in, come check out what we're doing. Right? And they don't want to say anything. Hours later, they're the life of the party.
Yeah.
They found their people. They found a place where they can stay. They feel safe and they feel supported. And And that's what I'm always blown away by is I've taken a couple of my veteran friends out
Yeah.
to your events. And
Yeah, just at the last one.
Yeah,
Your friend.
Eric.
Yeah, Eric.
Yeah. I literally just left him with Greg, who's
Yeah.
also a veteran. Greg I took out. He was another
Wow.
veteran friend that I took out. But now he works for us, so it kind of
Well, but at
doesn't
the
feel like
time, him and I really connected.
Yeah.
Right off the bat.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
I've made the recent correlation that Greg is just feral me. Like we're the same person. He's just feral.
okay. I'll give you that one.
Yeah.
We love you, Greg.
Well.
but you are feral.
He's the most effective version of feral. But I've taken my friends out and I don't go and I don't work with them on your equipment. I'll grab Jeremiah or I'll grab Dana and or Dave. And it's like, hey, this is my friend. He wants to make a knife. And then I just walk away.
Yeah. I did that with my kid.
Yeah.
At the last one. Like it was Brett because, well, we love him.
He got his flowers last episode. It's
I
fine.
know, but I love him. Like he is such an amazing person. What he does for our group.
Yeah.
He gets flowers for our group.
Okay.
The amount of time that I'll call and talk to him and he gives the time.
Mm-hmm.
The amount of times where like, hey, can you come out here? It's 3 hours.
Mm-hmm.
He came one day, 3 hours to help with the Crucible Steel class. The morning, he had to go home that night. He did the class full, 8+ hours, and then drove home. And then he had to wake up. Actually, he woke up and come down here and he taught the next day, I think.
Yeah.
And it's just, that's the type of person he is. So,
There he is.
That's our guy. But then, him, Ben Johnson, who is another J.S. Smith that we've met through Mid-America down in SOFA.
Yep.
And they both took my son through the entire knife making process at the expo.
Yep.
It was the coolest thing.
Didn't he make a couple tiny swords with John Norwood as well? Or was John working with another?
No, John was working with the young man that we ended up. That was the start of our Pay It Forward program. His name, well, I can't. We won't say his name.
Yeah.
But the young man in town,
Little Gertrude.
his mom was like, because I asked, and she was like, "Yeah, he really wants to, but it's so expensive," and it hit me like a ton of bricks. We had a raffle table. I walked over there, grabbed a hammer because I talked to Steve King, and he's like, "Yeah, sometimes at an event like this, we just pick someone and we just give them a hammer or a pair of tongs." And it was like, I never thought about doing that.
Yep.
That's freaking amazing. And we got a whole table of stuff in there. So I ripped a hammer off of it, and I said, "Here. This is your first real hammer.
Yeah.
So you don't have to use Harbor Freight one or a ball peen, whatever." And he said something, and then I grabbed John Norwood, and honestly, I was blown away that he came up to the event, and
I was very impressed that his therapy was that right there.
that was it. And then the smile on his face
Yep.
afterwards, he's like, "Man, I haven't forged in forever." That was amazing.
Yeah.
And it was like he just totally blanked out, helped this kid make whatever they made. I don't even know because they linked up. I ran off to do what I do at events.
I think they made a couple things because it was like 6 hours of just the two of them.
Yeah, every time I looked over, they were doing something.
Yeah.
But it was just amazing. That's what this community is about. And yeah, so.
Yeah. So that's our recap of Warriors Way. It's incredibly near and dear to our hearts. You guys roped us in through your compassion and through your want to be part of the community, and it aligned with so much of what we were doing and what we are trying to actively do that it was just a no-brainer. And every time I go out, there's guys like, I can't tell you how many guys like John I've met. Obviously, John has a little bit bigger story. It's a little bit more publicized, so we're a little bit more aware of him, so it's easier to say his name. But there's a guy every event where I'll go and be like, man.
It's just heartbreaking. The amount of suicides in and amongst yourself, if you really look at that and open your eyes to it, it's devastating when they are kids. I mean, they literally leave teenagers, come home, men. I bought a freaking bandsaw off Facebook Marketplace. Next thing you know, I literally talk about Warriors Way at every chance that I get to people. If you know me that it's coming out at some point. And next thing you know, this mom and dad start talking to me, and they're like, our son he just recently came back like 2 years ago, and we didn't even know who he was.
Yeah.
And it was like, what do you mean? And it's like, we got to talking, and all of the things that I've learned about all these people, I said it back to them, and you would have thought that they were like, did you have a microphone in our house?
Yeah.
Because how do you know this? And it's like, we know this because this is what we see in our program. And it was like, we had a very big moment. We actually had a very emotional moment. And there are a ton of God moments. I call them God moments, and I refuse to not believe them that they are.
Yeah.
And I don't force that on anybody. But for me, he puts me in a place, and I don't not answer anymore.
Well, you can't ignore it. Yeah.
Anymore, because there's so much that you've seen. Once you see it, you can't unsee these things. And so, long story short, which is rare, he came, we talked, and it was like you could see it in his face. He literally had no value or no worth because of what he did in the military. The position that he had, and coming out, he had nothing. And the people in society, they make you feel like nothing at companies. Like you are a number.
Right.
Go stand over there and hit that button, or whatever you do. That's how he feels today. There is where a majority of the suicide comes, because then someone at a thing will go take another vitamin.
Well,
go do this.
It's the suicide, and I don't want to ignore that. As you know, I suffered like 3 within a couple months. I didn't suffer them. They happened in my immediate surroundings a couple years ago, and I don't want to ignore that. But I think a lot of times what gets overlooked is the guys that do have that one bit of hanging. Everybody always makes the joke, well, my mom would be sad, or, well, I've the only thing keeping me here is my daughter. And it's like, yeah, good. I'm glad you have a reason to stick around, but there's still work that needs done. You being in your worst state possible, but being
no
alive.
idea your impact on the world.
Right.
And it's wild. Like, jokingly, I didn't realize Francis had the same hat on. Bob Rankin is a great example of now a living memoir. When his son came home, he ended up taking his life.
Yeah.
That is how we met Bob, because it was down at Blade's show. We heard about it, and he was only 3 hours from us. I got his phone number, called him, and said, listen, I don't care what you need, when you need it, you call us, because we're here. If you want to get away from everybody and everything, everyone's saying they're sorry and they know how you feel and all of the things, and you just want to come down and not talk about it, you come down, make a night, do whatever. You just sit in a chair.
Right.
And so we became brothers over this last couple years since then. The memoirs of his son that he gets to cherish, the book that he should make it a book, honestly. The Google document,
that he shared.
Wow. You talk about profound impact. Honestly,
that might be
selfishly, that's what I want my impact to be.
That might be the last time I cried. Genuinely. And I'm not saying that to be a tough man. I deal with my emotions very
totally.
well.
Yeah.
So I was sitting at my desk, and he was like, hey, I just sent you this Google document. It's got some stories about Bob in it and stuff. And if you want to have speaking points, because we didn't know Bob very well either.
Yeah.
It was just we were compelled to have him on because it's an important topic. And I sat at my desk and I cried and cried because of the third party people that were like, I was his landlord and he made me feel safe. It's like, how do you have that kind of impact?
And then do that.
Holy crap.
And that is actually, plug Warriors way back, that is what we are after.
Yeah.
We are not after the aftercare, after you get out. Yes, we're there. Yes, we'll never say no to that. But we are looking at what can we do to help the reintegration and help you find a community. I mean, this is who cares who hears it? Go replicate what we do. Try.
Right.
And not like a call to action, like we're tough guys.
No, but like, please try. Please.
Like, it's not as easy as it sounds. Like, I literally work a job. Shout out Flexline Automation. I love you. I took a new role with them and told them flat out, if you don't allow me to do what I do with a nonprofit when I need to do it, I'm not taking this role. That is how much impact that this thing has on me.
Yeah.
But then all of that, like, it's unpaid. Not only is it unpaid, but Dave is unpaid.
Yep.
It is 52 weeks a year, 24/7, because we have a suicide prevention program. We've saved 29 lives. And
that's just the ones that will step up and admit it.
Exactly. And so, like, all of those things, we want, it's not that we want chapters of Warriors Way, but we want this program. But the hard part that we find every time, well, how much money do you make? How much, what's this look like? Well,
I'm in bed by 9 o'clock every night. And
it's free.
Yeah.
And all of the money goes back into the program. If you walk into our building, you see the amount of equipment that we have. It is no joke.
Yeah.
And so all those things, we're working with the state, we're working locally, we're getting some traction, and it's going to be a game changer to actively do something in this community and help them find their people.
Right.
That's
the ultimate goal is for, 5 or 6 guys start coming to classes, get along, one of them buys a forge, and then 2 of those guys go over there, and then, it spreads, right? Like, that's the goal. Yeah. Your new facility is large, but it's also very undersized, even for the veteran organization or community in your surroundings and in your area. There are so many more veterans than you can fit.
There are a lot of veterans, both north and south of us and in our county. And since you brought the building up, I do have some bad news. We are going through, there's some serious legal litigation where we're trying to get legal litigation. There was a cease and desist on the property that was not disclosed to us before we bought it.
Great.
And so we've sunk, and typically we don't talk about, the bank account. We've sunk $30,000 to $40,000, basically our entire savings account to get this ready. And we're stuck. We're done. Like, I mean, the guy, and I'm not going to talk, I need to be careful because I'm pretty angry about it and I don't want to be bitter. But like, the building is literally built too close to the small building. You've been there?
Yep.
20 feet is what that should be. And now that it's a commercial property, we're all handy. We could literally have it done in a weekend, everything. Yeah. We are not allowed to legally touch this building because it has to have code. There is no engineered drawings. That is $5,000 at the minimum just to get that. If they dig stuff up on the foundation, that building, and it's not done to code, that building has to be torn down. And so it's like, and this is literally within the last 24 hours, last week, that we're really feeling the effects. And it's like, where we could go deep inside, and like, I feel I feel my blood rising because I clearly have a lot of passion for what we do. But at the same token, we are blessed and we are thankful. And that is how we're going to move forward. No matter what, whether it takes 15 years, we're hoping it doesn't.
Right.
Because now we're taking all of our resources and all of our time to get that fixed versus helping veterans. How many people will we miss? How many first responders that don't get treated with respect, that PTSD is real for them?
Right.
Youth, we started a youth archery program that's going off the chains. We had 16 people total out last week.
That's awesome.
Now that could come to a screeching halt if as we now publicly are saying things, if something gets shut down, like, we're done. Like, our old building is gone. Yeah. Like, it's rented.
Right.
Now, we know the person, but still it's gone. Like, that's off the table. And it's like, it's a very real, uncertain thing. And transparency, we want people to understand, well, where did the money go that we gave you? Did you mismanage it? Did it go to your house?
No.
And it's like, nope. It went into the gravel.
Right.
The amount of gravel we put down, the amount of paying actual people to come do certain things. Yeah. So all of that to say, we're hurting, but we're going to show the world how resilient we truly are.
Right.
And if we have to go to literally taking anvils and doing it on someone's front yard, you can do it in my
You can do it
driveway.
in my you can do it in my barn.
Driveway.
I'm far away from you, but
Dave doesn't have a day job, so
Yep.
if as long as we're doing something, but that's kind of the update, and it's a heavy update, but at the end of the day, it's not going to put us down
yeah.
ever.
Well, it's transparent.
Because we believe in our mission, we believe in the people in the community. We are hoping that people step up, that if we have to tear this building down, that somehow, some way, like there's 100,000 people out in just the local community. Throw $1 into a bucket,
Right.
we're done. We can pay things off. Well, let's go 200. We can pay that off, pay an engineer, pay a company to come in and build a freaking pole barn.
A dream barn.
And $1.
Yeah.
You hate to have producer Everin, can you play the sad song that they do for the animals when I say this?
Yeah, give me a second.
Okay, I'll move on. But no, and I'm being serious. Like it's funny to think about, $1's not going to do anything. There's no way that I can make an impact with less than a soda. You can't even buy a Monster. Shout out Hans Mullenkamp. Support veterans and the making community. I love this because I hear these and I'm like, ooh, I want to do this. But all of that to say, a freaking dollar goes a long way.
It stacks.
We stretch everything.
Right.
Like we're cutting steel and like we're reusing pieces that you're like, oh wow, well, should we?
Yeah.
Well, what happens if we lose funding tomorrow?
Yep.
And it's like, okay,
Use
you're
what I
right.
have and make it work.
Yeah. Use belts way longer than we should. But it's free.
Yeah.
Like still a great program.
Yeah.
But it's okay, producer Evan, we can move on. Because
I'll do it in post.
Yeah.
yes.
So I do want to make sure that we have time because what your comment that you brought up to me earlier this week and after this I'll let you take over and we can have a civil discussion. But to summarize all of this is get involved. Specifically, we want anybody in Indiana, Ohio, Kentucky, Michigan, probably parts of Pennsylvania, West Virginia, it's all within 3 or 4 hours.
Driving distance. It doesn't matter
driving
where you are.
distance.
If you're willing to come up, you can come from anywhere. We have people from Texas.
Come hang out. If you have something like this around you, one day a month, the amount of impact that you can have just going and saying, you know what, every third Saturday I'll be here.
Yeah.
Do you need me to sweep? Do you need me to teach a class? Do you need me to hang drywall? Do you need me to, I spent 3 years as a plumber. This toilet doesn't look right. Let me figure that out, or this drain, whatever. All of those things. And we bring Jeff on because Jeff talks about it and is a little bit more vocal.
Yeah.
But the amount of work that David does.
It's all David. I am like we jokingly say that I am his emotional support animal because at any given moment, like we'll be talking and he'll look at me and he just blanks, and it's like whoop, squirrel gone, and it's like I got to jump in that moment and take over or drive the message home with our stories because when he talks, he reads, and this is it.
Yeah,
and there's nothing wrong with that.
It's like he has flashcards in his brain.
No, he actually has flashcards most of the time.
Oh.
But that's the thing. Like, it's okay.
Yeah.
Like, look at where he came from.
Right.
He's up there. He's
so
conquered
handsome,
his.
too.
Oh, look at that smoldering look.
That.
Wow. He's going to love that. But no, just him being out there, man, I get, there's 3 things that I get passionate about. My family, my faith, my job, and Warrior's Way. Mm-hmm. Maybe 4, because I really love my making, but I don't go anywhere with it. But that's besides the point. But the day job, job, literally everything I do in my making translates to my day job.
Right. So let's jump into that. On Monday, you stopped by. There was a raffle. There was some things that happened, and we ended up wanting to kind of support.
Sure.
Another maker who made the absolute right decision and has chosen to remain a little bit in anonymity. He doesn't want it to be super public.
He doesn't want it public
Yeah.
And to clarify from the last podcast, if you listened to the end, he didn't donate it. He looked inside of his heart and said it wasn't by fault. It was technicality that he won. We had no clue that the live feed cut off.
Yeah.
And then it's like, me being me, I got on the phone the second I got off that freaking live video faster than, touching a hot coal and dropping it.
Yeah.
And I was on the phone calling and texting Brett that he actually won with all of the things that he did leading up to that thing.
Yeah.
And it was like when James Fleming called me and said, dude, you have to redraw. Like, the live feed cut out. I'm like, no, it didn't. I could see my face on it. It didn't go. And the shattered feeling sucked. But then all in all, we did it again. And he's like, it took him it didn't take much time at all.
Yeah.
And so there's going to be some, because I know he's not watching, there's going to be there's a kitchen knife, there's a utility knife, there's an axe, there's a hoodie from Cole. The axe was from Cole. There's some other personal gifts. Just the community stepped up big time, both to give the bike and then to take care of the giver.
Yeah.
So.
Well, wrong one. There it is.
There it is.
There it is.
And that's my dude right there.
Yeah. So.
But day job.
So you came in on Monday, you were doing a trip, and you said that something that me and Nathan had been talking about on recent podcasts is American manufacturing, and we have this idea of bring it back here. We need to create infrastructure.
That was profound.
You have this wonderful insight where you can raise your hand during all of those conversations we're having and say, I'm the guy that can bring it back here.
I literally refrained from typing in story, like essays on that on the comment thing, because what you guys said was so profound. The amount of knowledge that is gone. Every time you see a knee mill or these giant machine shops selling these dinosaurs that people call them, because it's not a CNC, all those things.
Yeah.
The operator that ran that and the knowledge, tribal knowledge, call it tribal knowledge, whatever you want to call it, it's gone.
Right.
We hope that it got passed on, but the problem is we didn't. So when you guys talked about the setback in manufacturing, what I do on a daily basis, I talk to engineers trying to figure out how to make their processes smoother, enhance the manufacturing processes. How do we keep up and make it so it's cost effective?
Right.
And everything, the word is cost effective. It has to hit an ROI. But we're seeing things in the market that have never been done before. And the biggest problem, people get all up in arms about robotics and automation, and that's what I do. Flexline automation, we build conveyors, we do automated work cells, and we help builders, we help integrators. We are an integrator of like universal robots. You walk through plants and people are upset. They're scared. They're terrified. That is where I shine, because I really do hate sales. I think the industry of sales, it has a bad rap, and it has a bad rap for a good reason. Type thing. But where I do things differently is I come in and I tell you that I care about you, like every other person does, and then I show you that I care about you, because then sometimes I tell you, I've walked your plant. You can't do this the way you're asking me.
Yeah.
Well, what do you mean? I need it done. I need something. I have a process improvement plan that I have to submit to my manager, and they're getting stepped on their throat in these facilities.
Yeah.
They're responsible for 2 lines. And it's like, when I say no, they're left shattered. Like, what do I do now? I don't want to waste your time. I can't do it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to present you with a solution that I'm not going to be able to support.
Yeah.
And so all of those things, the loss of knowledge and the operators they're just non-existent. So to bring manufacturing back, if I'm being honest, it's going to implode. It's going to implode because the workforce, the laborers, are not ready for it.
Right.
And I just had a conversation the other day. It was we do box erectors where you have an end effector on there, and it literally erects the box and tapes the bottom. Customer we're talking with, they were looking at it and they're like, yeah, well, we want this and everything's manual. This will be our first automation project. And to me, it's not a red flag, but it's a red flag. It's Jeff, you got to slow down. Like, be excited, but don't go over the top.
Right.
They're not buying 10 units or they're not doing an entire plant-wide
Right.
automation.
Right.
Literally, my favorite thing is to do phases. Talk about it in phases. And that's what I truly believe after all of the states, the plants, the things that I've been involved with over the last, 7 years of ergonomics and automation, people aren't there. And you're going to have to phase this in, and it'll be interesting. People are afraid of the tariffs. Be afraid of when they do bring the manufacturing back, in my opinion. Because and again, I am not an expert. I'm not trying to be an expert, but I'm speaking from pure passion and what I see in the industry from my own two eyes. Just to clarify, any Sunday quarterback that's about to come on, I love you and I appreciate your words already. But those things, we're going to implode the workforce. They're already fighting over, like in Texas alone, like Tesla coming in and doing what Tesla did, and like people going to Texas because they don't have the same corporate taxes and all of the things that just absolutely annihilate companies. They're paying somebody just to do what they do every day. They're taxed on taxes on taxes on taxes.
Right.
And just watching that, plants are already low. We've had this conversation. What is the biggest thing you guys have lacked? It's labor. Skilled labor, not just people stuffing things in boxes. We're talking skilled labor.
Yeah, and we're at a production level where all of my employees have to be skilled.
Everyone.
I don't have a put the tape on the box boy. I don't have, I've got Chris who is skilled in computers and in spreadsheets and in human relations, and that's why he's my inventory guy. Guess what? He also has to paint because I can't afford paint, which would be considered an unskilled labor at our paint expectation.
Sure. The manufacturing, and we're purely talking about manufacturer roles.
If you're talking about painting a 67 Camaro, that is a skilled painter that has to take that on.
Yes.
Our presses don't take a skilled painter. But guess what? I can't hire somebody to just paint. So I paint, Chris paints, Greg paints. Greg is a very, very skilled mechanic. Guess what? He builds all my machines and he oversees 2 young guys who he's teaching how to build the machines. Logan is an engineer. Guess what? He runs a Bridgeport and a CNC every single day. We've got a Haas that he runs. I've got Shiloh and Nigel that are skilled laborers. I've got Josh, I hope Josh doesn't listen to this, one of the best welders probably in the city. And all of these people are here. We pay well enough that people are taken care of, don't get me wrong. But we also aren't paying people $80 an hour to come in and work 4 hours a day and, screw around.
A skilled welder could make...
A skilled welder can be $45 an hour easy.
Overnight.
Right. So everybody here is here because they care about what we're doing, and we're very, very blessed in that way. But
that's rare.
That's rare when you talk about bringing industry back to America. I think sometimes me and Nathan get rose-colored glasses because it's like, we love manufacturing, and it doesn't matter what you're making. We love it.
You love the nostalgia of the manufacturing. What you guys see.
Wow, that feels very accusatory and downright hateful.
I mean, you can fight me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm ready. I've been ready the whole time I've been here.
Nunchuck Billy over here.
I mean, if you were watching earlier, I was swinging them.
Stay strapped.
Yeah, you gotta be ready. But no, like, just from talking, you guys, the styles that you like, they're nostalgic. I'm an old soul. Like, I'm listening to 70s and 80s rock and roll in my car, which is, my kids look at me like I'm weird and an alien, but it's fine.
Yeah.
But those are those things. You said it best with Greg. He's teaching his mechanical skill set. That is all but gone. There are knee mills everywhere I go. No one's running it.
My dad called me and was like, "Hey, we've got this old South Bend lathe that is in storage. It's been in storage for probably 5 or 6 years. We've replaced it, and I wanted to keep a hold of it as a backup, but I probably won't need a backup because I'm getting ready to buy new mills again. Do you want it?" And I was like,
Yes.
"Yeah, an old like 1950s or 60s South Bend lathe. He works in the lead industry, so it's not been run hard at all. It's been cutting
It's super
lead.
soft material.
Yeah, they just scrapped it."
Yeah. These machines are
have a full
they're
machine
being sold
shop.
on pennies.
And their machine shop was like, "Yeah, we're never going to use that. Just scrap it."
Yeah. And honestly, I had that same question at FlexLine this week.
Yeah.
I ended up looking it up because we were looking for a compound slide. It was a 6340 Klausing, and it was an Atlas Klausing at the time when Atlas was like in everything back then. Squirrel. But the question then became, because they're going to have a compound slide on the top of the slide, the dovetail top part, they're going to have that machined and made.
Right.
Because the Klausing or whoever the owner called, they're like, "Yeah, we don't make those anymore, but I'm going to send you a detailed dimensional drawing."
Yep.
Here. I searched for 25 minutes and found five or six listings for a Klausing, but they weren't even for Klausing. Like it was just the eBay trying to literally throw something on the page so I felt good about myself. There's nothing, and they've been looking for months on months, and like the thought process today is, we'll replace that with a CNC machine, CNC lathe. We'll replace that with a Brother or a mini Haas or what anything. I mean, heck, even Langmar has some great systems for small jobs.
Yep.
The MR1, we have one. Richard Beck, a good friend of mine, he's running all of his parts and doing production on his MR1, and it's amazing. But those skill sets are dying.
Right.
Like you have to learn how to machine, and no one knows how to do it.
Well, think of how many grandpas had woodworking shops or forges, or, my grandpa made mallets. My great-grandpa made mallets and chairs. He was a woodworker, but he specialized in, gavels, but gavel's just a fancy mallet.
Yeah.
And chairs, that was his hobby. My grandpa owned a farm, had to sell the farm, started trucking. His hobby time, he would go and build fences and farm for other people, And not to call out my dad or anything, because my dad is a very busy man with his job, but my dad doesn't have a hobby. My dad doesn't do stuff for fun. I bought a lawnmower.
That whole generation rarely has a hobby.
Right.
Seriously.
Genuine. And if they have a hobby, it's golf.
Oh, that's a fact.
So so we're not just losing it in the manufacturing realm, but we're losing it as a core of who we are as a people. People aren't going and doing what I would refer to as cool stuff. My grandpa lived about 3 hours away while I was growing up, so I didn't have the go spend the night with your grandpa or whatever, but I did have a lot of friends that did that, and their grandpa, all of them had woodworking shops or small engine repair, or they would be working on their car and, watching NASCAR and drinking Busch Light or whatever.
Yeah, and just enjoying life, but having a very key skill set that you don't even realize is key.
Right.
Problem solving is one of the biggest things, the logic to look at raw material. And, okay, so I graduated with criminal justice and a sociology
in 1946.
Yeah, no. Actually, I got asked if I was 23 this week. I'm not.
Okay.
I'm 39, but totally squirreled.
You graduated?
I graduated with criminal justice and sociology, and so I have no business being in automation and engineering, but I have found after 14 years of going from job to job, being made fun of for years on end that, it's 2 years. Where are you going now, Jeff? Oh, it's been a year. Are you looking?
Yeah.
And it's like, I laughed it off and played it. But ultimately, deep down inside, we all want to take pride in what we do. I I hid that deep inside for the longest time. And then I finally found a company that I was told, talk about your hobbies. And I'm like, I'm not talking about, that's the dumbest thing I could ever do.
Yeah.
I'm not talking, that no one wants to hear that I sit in a garage and I am too cheap to go buy the right material, that I repurpose things that I probably shouldn't,
Yeah.
that I built a 2x72-inch belt grinder based on wooden plans from John Heiss, and I modified everything because I didn't like it, and then I put a treadmill motor on it. I tore apart like 5 treadmills and cobbled together the DC motor and bridge rectifier, and then DC to AC converter, pieced it all together, put it in a box, boom, done, running. I used it twice.
Yeah.
And then I found a new piece to make. I didn't know that was a skill set that you could get paid for.
Right.
And so years went by. And then I go to these plants, and I'm like, the first plant I walk in, I'm like, oh man, I'm just an excited talker. What am I going to do? These people are so smart. They went to school, they went to whatever, they're doing all these things. There are a lot of good engineers out there. That's not what this comment is going to be. What I'm saying is they are so beat down by the processes. There is no logical or problem solving happening on manufacturing lines. They are literally robots walking through the day. And you know I'm getting excited when I'm talking with my hands. They're walking through their day, walking through their plant, waiting for the next fire drill to come up. And that's why I got so jacked up when I heard you guys talking about manufacturing, because it's a skill set to walk in a plant and be able to tell people you're having problems with that station, that piece right there, and this is what's hurting them.
But it looks like it's affected over here.
Oh, it's upstream and downstream.
Here's your problem right here.
Your problem is way back here.
Right.
It has nothing to do with where you found it.
Right.
That's just a kink in the conveyor line or something. Your problem is back here. You're sending things through with someone doing this.
Yep. Or you designed a 1/2-inch hole for a 1/2-inch bolt.
Okay, I am so glad that you brought that up. The amount.
Okay.
No. Think about this, and this is where I'm going with this. The amount of times that I've heard, oh, well, that engineer is an idiot. I can't believe that they would put a bolt there. What kind of moron puts a bolt right there? Fast forward all these years, I tried to teach myself how to do CAD by myself with like Blender or whatever those things are called. The constraints, I almost broke an expensive laptop in half because you are not allowed to complete a model without going through the constraints and making sure they disappear.
Right.
And at that very moment, I said, that's why there's bolts. That's why there are connections that are hidden through the assembly process. And everyone only looks at it from my point of view. This is affecting me. This hurts me. I don't want to do this. This is too much work. I don't want to tear it apart. And I said that to a couple of people on the plant floor, and they said, I never thought about it like that.
And then the other thing that people don't think about is, you know, you talk about manufacturing facilities in 1910. One guy would go, oh, I have an idea. Let's make a skillet.
Yeah.
And then he designs a skillet from start to finish.
Yep.
And that skillet works. So he hires a guy to help him. And then that gets really, really popular. So they hire a guy to build a machine to make it faster. And then they need an operator for that. So they hire another guy. Well, now we're making so much money, I need an accountant. My original business partner is going to take over the money side. I'm going to take over production management. And so the people calling the shots, running the show, have an intimate knowledge of the process start to finish because they started.
They started
did it
somewhere.
Now you have a team of 8 engineers designing a coffee mug, and one does the handle, and one does the bottom, and one designs what goes in it, and none of them are communicating. And so it's like, well, I put a bolt there because I thought this was going to have this feature. Well, you missed the last update where we took that feature out, so I don't need that bolt, and it just becomes.
And it's too late.
It's a cluster cuss because it's already been in production.
Yes, it's too late. It's already been signed off because each part was done and each part was separately, uncollectively
right here, it looks good.
okayed.
Yeah, right here it looks good. When you take it back and look at the whole thing, you're like, well, I don't need that there.
Yeah. I bet you if you ask Eric Hemker some of the issues that they see on a day-to-day basis with what he does, because he's on the manufacturing level.
Yep.
Oh man. Like
Seats. Last time I talked to him, I think he was trying to get air conditioning, like a separated air conditioning system under a seat.
Yeah.
That just blows the backseat passenger's feet.
Yes.
First of all, no, we don't need that. As a civilization, I think we can live without that.
Have you had air conditioned seats before?
Okay, the seat itself, getting a nice little, you've been sweating all day, you sit down, you get cold breeze going through the shorts and through the back. Yes, great, fantastic.
Fantastic.
In the back seat, though, with our shoes off, while you're riding somewhere, does that happen?
No, because it's okay. So let's go from the start. It has the AC, the car's AC system has to be routed from the front of the engine.
So they're using the same thing for the seat as the, okay.
There's no second compressor in the middle of the car. See, these are the conversations that I have every day.
But
and people not forget, they just don't look at the whole process.
In the same vein that is creating innovation for innovation's sake. We're not creating out of necessity anymore.
100%.
Now we're trying to find purpose in innovation, and man's purpose is not in innovation.
In their family, and it's producing good things, and having great friends and having a community. It's what more can we do? How much faster can we make it? And how much cheaper can it be?
Right.
And it's like I get so frustrated throughout the day sometimes, and I do want to say this. I love my job, and the manufacturing facilities are amazing that I go to, and they do good things. But you talk about innovation for innovation. Why does an SUV need to be $95,000? That used to be $45,000.
Brother, I drive a truck. All right, don't tell me about the price of trucks.
No, that's what I'm asking.
Right.
That's just the SUV, like a full-size SUV.
Right.
Like trucks nowadays are 90 to 100.
Right.
And it's
a good used truck. A good used truck is easily $40,000
with 95,000 miles on it, and it's a truck. And most likely, if it has 95,000 miles, it's been
used
to all get out.
It's insane to me. I want to go back to you talking about the logic being gone though, because until literally this conversation, it didn't really dawn on me. I have always been I've had multiple jobs. I've worked in the food industry. I've worked in retail. Now I've worked in manufacturing. And every time I seem to start in a position and outgrow it very quickly, get promoted, and then I just get left alone.
And you're on an island.
Well, I get left alone because it's like, oh, you're competent and I can trust you. It's never like I get left alone like,
I see what you're
like. I'm not going to support you.
Like they're not bothering you on a day-to-day basis because now they're over here with this fire.
Right, I can
they're
trust
over
you.
here with this fire. Oh, I don't need to talk to you. If you need me, come get me.
Exactly. And
yes,
it's because my skill set is not. You will get dies and products that I have welded. I'm not a good welder. I'm a good enough welder, but I'm not a good welder. That's not my skill set.
Fair enough.
I paint our presses. I'm not a painter. That's not my skill set. I paint well enough. I can do shipping. I can schedule shipping. Computers and logistics is not my specialty. I'm not.
Yeah.
What has put me into the position where I've been able to exceed is logic.
Critical thinking.
Is if you give me 2 or 3 hours, and I'll couple it with another thing. So I can think my way. Okay, so I had this problem before with this completely unrelated thing that kind of makes sense here. I wonder if I try this. Okay, that stopped working. Okay, now if I try this, and this. Okay, that stopped working. Okay, now I got to no big deal. I got to a final finished product and we're good. That's good enough. I can get it good enough to go.
Yeah.
That coupled with decision making.
Yeah.
I am okay with making a decision. Come in, tell me what 2 paths you have available, and I'll tell you which one I agree with, and I won't think about the other one ever again. We said this, we're doing this, let it ride for 3 months, then we can go back and we can evaluate our results. We can see, okay, this is where the imperfections are at. Let me impact that. And I can get us to 80% in 6 months. That last 20% might make 20 years, but we'll make incremental improvements on that. Because I'm willing to go in and say, where's my data? Where are my results? What am I looking at? okay, I think this is best.
Right. That like you're looking at it from a pure ROI standpoint.
Right. People, not even ROI, just
Well,
sometimes it's comfort or ease or whatever. But people are so afraid to make a decision that they'll come to you and say, oh, hey, we'll go back to painting. I want to paint this press. Sweet. I asked you to paint that press. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, well, should I shake the paint can by hand or do you want me to hook it up to the paint shaker? Well, I got a paint shaker because it's going to shake it more efficiently, faster while you do this other thing, while you prep all your gun and stuff. And they're like, okay. And then they'll come back. Well, I want to paint this press. Good. How's the paint shaker working out? Oh, it worked fantastic, Francis. Thank you.
Fill the paint gun.
Should I bag the valve or should I tape the valve off? Well, what did I show you to do? Well, you bagged it, but then I noticed there was paint in the booth too. Okay. At this point, if you were to bag it or tape it, it doesn't matter. I get the same result. Yeah. I chose bagging it because it's quicker.
Yes.
And that's why I told you to bag it. They're like, oh, okay, cool. They have I'm not getting a better result one way or the other. I'm just doing it a little bit faster.
They don't make a difference one way or the other, whether you do it this way or that way. That is actually fun to see.
If they made the wrong decision and taped it, and it took them more time to paint because they taped it, they still would have done it faster than standing and thinking about it for 5 minutes and then coming to ask me and then having to have a whole conversation with me about what they wanted to do and why they wanted to do it. But then here's why they second guess themselves or whatever. The inability and it's not just in production level either.
No. It's our society as a whole.
Hey, kid, I'll have chicken nuggets. Okay, what dipping sauce do you want? I want ranch. Okay, do you want anything else? No, I just want ranch. Are you sure? Yes, I just want chicken nuggets and ranch, please. Like, even I've noticed at like fast food places, you get these people who are afraid for you to make the decision about what you're going to eat.
And they're questioning it and they're asking you. And then now by the time you're done ordering, you're questioning yourself, did I want fries?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I can't even remember what I ordered. All I know is that I better get ranch because I talked about it for 5 minutes.
And then you don't, but that's besides the point.
But yeah, I think what has gotten me here has been my ability to kind of critically think and logic through things and then make a decision. And that's been lost. And I'm grateful to have the people on my staff that will make decisions and then come to me and say, hey, I made this decision. And it only does that every once in a while. It's like, ooh, not okay. But for the most part, it's like, hey, I made this decision.
But you'd rather have the ooh, not okay once or twice or every so often versus you have to go to every station and tell someone what to do, their next step and the next step after that. And I want to uplift the engineers that I do see on a daily basis.
Preach.
They don't have the time.
No.
So there are a lot of smart individuals that can do a lot, but they're not given the decision-making power. They have meeting after meeting after meeting. They get bombarded with salesmen coming in trying to sell components, which is fine. And none of these things are bad, but this is what the world looks like in a big manufacturing
and they're never given
facility.
the full picture. They're just given their part.
That is the key.
Their part.
That's
it.
You said it. Like literally, my part works fine. Next group, and then they're gone. And yes, they have meetings, but they have meetings.
Nothing from my end, Bob. That's half the meetings. Half the meetings.
And don't get me wrong, there's a lot of good things happening here. I just see it's always easy to see the bad and not share the good.
Yeah.
And we're talking about why manufacturing is going to be hard to come back to the US in the way that everyone thinks it should or would or could. We're fear-based decision making in the US currently. That is our society. That is how, and we're transitioning that into our day jobs. And with that thought process, I don't want to make this decision because it'll affect my job. It's not going to be on me.
Yeah.
And no one's ever said that to me, but you watch that through the plant and it's like on the highway, the ripple effect of a brake light. You don't realize how big of a ripple effect that it could go for miles.
Oh, yeah.
Depending on how busy the traffic is.
Right.
And then all of those things, it's so sad to see good engineers. And I want to emphasize that. It is terrible to see good engineers having to hop from place to place to place,
Right.
because they're leaving bad management or they're leaving bad processes that
non-starters where it's like the engineer comes in and says, I know you want to make this part. I either need this machine or we need to go have it outsourced. And they're like, no, I need you to make it work. And it's like, no. Like, we don't have the ability to do that. This
we
is
do.
a non-starter.
You go do it.
So I have a few friends that have designed things or worked in fields where they're like, dude, we had this whole, it took me 2 years to come up with this projection or this project proposal.
Yeah.
And then they disagreed that we had to outsource this, or they disagreed that we had to buy this machine.
It's crazy
And
at
so-
the end when people come in and they tear apart a quote that you've spent 6, 8, 12, 18 months putting this together, data collection session after data collection session after whiteboard session after whiteboard session of ideas to now have a engineered drawing, rendering, and someone has no relevance to the project says, nope.
Yep.
What do you mean? Nope?
When I get a lot of people, when I get to heaven, I just want to see my childhood dog again. Or when I get to heaven, I'm going to ask God this. When I get to heaven, I'm going to look God in the eyes and I'm going to say, how much money did we waste on project proposals as a society? How many millions of dollars are you deep in the hole and you get on a 3 or 4 year project? And like you said, some guy comes in and he's like, well, I want it to be blue. And it's like, well, OSHA standard says it has to be yellow. And well, then we're not doing it. And it's like, you realize you've spent $5 million building we already built the building. Yeah. And now you won't buy the machine because it can't be blue?
Because you say you ran out of money and now the entire thing has to be redone.
Right.
And actually, it's funny that you bring that up.
I'm hilarious.
Wow. And I always say that. And then I have to explain that it's not funny, but it's a weird saying. I hate that saying and I use it all the time. But no, you do these things and you don't realize how much time is wasted to get an approval. Like sometimes there's like 4 or 5 sign-offs and I get it, and everyone's too busy to really look at an approval drawing. And that's kind of where you're at, where you're talking about, where like a plant. Do you realize that a plant, at least and again, this is from my personal assessment of all the plants that I've been in, every 6-ish months, 6 to 8 months, a plant is turning something over.
Yep.
And sometimes it's product, brand new product, whatever. But they're revamping something every 6 to 8 months. I was at a place that I literally told some young engineers that just out of college, listen, go in there and tell them, hey, is this a 6-month plan or is this a 12-month plan?
Yeah.
And they're like, why? Watch their face. They come back, man, yeah. They were like, no, we're going to do it next year, but why? You just found their entire cycle.
Yep.
It's the year before. Were you at the table 2 years prior? And if you're now at the table with 12 months to go, you are a secondary quote to a project proposal that they've already had. They've had meetings for a year on, and you're just a number.
Yeah.
So ask them, am I just a number?
Yeah.
There's logical, critical thinking.
Right.
And so that is what, watching manufacturing come back, I am incredibly excited, more so because I get paid for it, but I got to pay the bills. But no, I'm incredibly excited to watch, and I don't like to listen a whole lot to things on like the news.
Oh, like the political
like
landscape.
The nonsense.
Yeah.
Because I get to see it on the floor level when I go visit people. It's interesting how many decisions are made based on the stuff that we say, oh, I don't listen to that nonsense. It's a ripple effect. And it has ruined and set back manufacturing facilities to where some are closed. All of the options and the things that we used to buy, if you haven't noticed or you're not observant because you just live life in a great bubble, stay in that bubble.
Yeah.
But do you notice that there's not as many options on the shelf as there used to be? And it's like people just think, oh, well, it's just not part of this run. No, it's because they don't have people for that line to run that option now.
Yep.
Because every time this shirt goes from white to black from the factory, not the screen printing.
Yeah.
That could be a different line because they're running millions of these shirts
Right.
because they're used for promotional whatever. They just get sent out by the boxes and pallets. And it's like, all this to say, manufacturing needs to come back.
Yeah.
But is our society truly ready?
I think so. You brought that up Monday when we talked.
Yeah.
And that's where I was like, stop. I don't want to waste this. Like, you had mentioned that you go in and you'll have this project proposal and then they'll say, dude, that's great, but I need this to run off 5 people, not 25, because they can't find people to do the job.
Yeah.
And it's like, maybe you will find the people if I make their jobs bearable.
Right.
How many people do you know that have worked? I tried to hire my friend when I first started. He was trying to get out of retail. I was like, I've got a position open. I'll hire you. And he was like, I can't work in a factory. And I was like, why not? What?
This is stigmatism.
This is the
how,
last thing from a factory, though. But because
no.
it's manufacturing.
Correct.
When I
it
think
is
of
the
factory, I think
stigmatism.
of like the same thing.
Again and an assembly
yeah.
line, pressing a button.
Yeah.
Just no thought process. Just literally watching people sit there and watch their life fly
Their
by.
little nets on their
Yes.
hats, even though they're just, they're putting a rim on a car, but they have to have a hairnet on.
Oh, yeah. It's dust.
Yeah.
It's scratching because it's at the final stage.
Yeah.
Like, it's a clean environment, for the right things. But
Right.
no.
I think American manufacturing will start to come back, and I think that the necessity of having people to work will create innovation in the automation area, and we
Yes.
will automate jobs to a point to where in manufacturing they will be a little bit more bearable.
Yeah.
Like Purdue is a really big agriculture school,
Yeah.
and they've had to start turning down. They've what is it called when you get accepted or whatever? They're the pool, I guess. I don't know, but
yeah, I know. What
they're
you're saying.
allowing less people in because we've automated agriculture now to a point where you can just kind of do it. You don't need 80 farm hands for a field anymore.
Okay, yeah, and that's a great point. Like, there are some jobs that, yes, robots are taking people's positions.
But do you want to do that job?
That's it. Do you want to sit there and have a mundane, repetitive job where you're getting tendonitis over the course of
Right.
20 years of using your muscle to the repetitiveness to where you can't grip a
Right.
pencil? That's what you want for the rest of your life? That's what you're upset about?
Right.
And it's like these things that they come through and they actually automate, and what they wanted to automate, it's a spreadsheet. And it is what it is. And I'm sure this is going to get shared, parts of this on LinkedIn with my company. I want people to understand that there's a lot of good in all of the things that I'm saying. I'm just looking at it from engineered sales director's view.
Yeah.
Like, I go in and I have to pick apart the things that don't work in order to
Right.
solve them. And all of that, it's so weird to watch the circle. Like, really, I mean, you want to get Lion King on it. The circle of life inside of a manufacturing facility is actually very fascinating.
Yeah.
Because the conception of an idea, the design, the carry out, the prototyping, the first run,
revisions,
from the first run, FATs, and then from the FAT to the production, from production to another change and iteration, but we still have to keep it going because
Right.
we're live now.
Yep.
And watching that full cycle, it really is a fascinating thing, and it's really hard for my family, a lot of my family and friends, to understand what I do for a living. A lot of it's talking, and I'm pretty good at that too. But there's a lot of passion there, because how I sell a work cell to somebody is, and I talked about earlier, phases. The manufacturing that's coming back to America needs to happen in phases. And there will be, I'm actually really curious to see what Josh Smith does with MKC, because I'm curious to see, he has an amazing workforce out there that he's actually grabbed. And where they live, that is a very hard thing to do. I had a job out west. That's their biggest struggle.
Well, that's like
they can't
Scotchman.
find somebody.
They can't grow as a company because they already employ all 86 people that live in the city.
Oh my gosh.
They literally cannot.
That
expand.
was just a conversation they had in a parking lot, or not the parking lot, the just outside of a thing for a luncheon. We brought a food truck in, and they actually did a study of the population versus the actual workable force or the laborers that could come from the population. They were physically at, I'm going to use a round number. This is not correct. 80% of the population.
Yeah.
And you can't grow from that.
Yeah.
Like literally, unless you bring in an entire wave of people and then the economy and the housing markets and everything, they can't support that.
Right.
So that's why like cities in, Dallas, Atlanta, Columbus, and I'm just throwing out big cities. You look at a big city.
Oh, Columbus, the big city. I know what you're talking about. The
Yeah.
big city, Columbus.
Yeah. Well, that was probably a bad one. But but no, you look at these pockets, manufacturing, it's weird. Like they're throwing I think Kentucky's a great one. I think GE is bringing something back from China. GE Appliances, if I'm correct.
No, don't get me started on
if you
GE
can-
appliances. I used to sell appliances.
I've been wanting to do this. Producer Evan, can you fact check me on Kentucky GE Appliance moving their factory from China to Kentucky? Do you realize that the economic impact that plan is going to have on Kentucky?
Well, yeah, Honda's bringing Civic EVs to Indiana, and they're already building neighborhoods in whatever city that is.
What was the key factor in the second part of that manufacturing that they're bringing back? They're building neighborhoods.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Wow. You have to think about it on that level. The country is not ready for that.
Yeah, we're building neighborhoods. The other thing that you have to think about is, so here in Anderson, we used to have 3 high schools. And we had like 9 elementary schools and 3 middle schools. When GE left, we're down to 1 high school, an intermediate school, which is like, I think 7th and 8th grade, 1 middle school, which is 5th and 6th grade, and like 3 or 4 elementary schools.
Yeah. The population.
So we have lost our infrastructure.
Yeah.
Brother, it's been 20 years. It's not been that long. In 20 years, we've lost our infrastructure to where, say Nestle wants to expand. They're here in town. They're
right down the road, right
down
off the
road.
highay.
Hey,
right off 70.
We 69. All right, not 70. We're not on that side, Andy. Okay. But if they were to say, hey, actually this plant's doing very well for us, we want to buy another 200 acres. Guess what? Pendleton, Fortville, Ingalls, they're all going to have to expand. But guess what? Right now they're all expanding because Indianapolis is expanding.
Yeah.
In 2 or 3 years, listen, in 2 or 3 years, if all of this American-made manufacturing goes well, I won't be able to afford the real estate this building sits in.
100%.
Because it'll become so valuable as either housing, because we have a pretty cute downtown 3 blocks away.
Very, very quaint.
Very quaint, this is a 1940s built downtown, right?
Yep. Hasn't changed, but changed.
Right. You've got the Paramount Theater, the State Theater. You've got a couple very classic bars down there, restaurants. There's a newspaper, all kinds of stuff. But this property will become so valuable,
Yes.
that we will have to pick up and move.
And that's sad to even think about, because where you'll have
We
to
move all the
to.
time. This is like building number 3.
No, not necessarily you personally, but like a company, when they move and they uproot, not everybody goes.
Well,
And
yeah,
then,
if
and then
we
you
build,
when you take everybody with you, you just lost.
you lose culture.
You lose culture. You lose knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
You lose so much more than just a person. And that full circle. Producer Aaron, did you pull that up? Was I right?
Yeah. I forget what statistic you said. What were you looking for?
No. Just that
GE moving to Kentucky.
GE moving
Yes.
to Kentucky.
So
It's like 6.
They've
It's like 500.
got a almost $500 million
Yeah.
laundry plant in Louisville. 98,000 jobs that they're bringing in.
98,000 jobs.
That
Can
literally,
the population support that? That's my question.
that literally just completely changed my opinion on GE. Genuinely, in that one statement,
Yeah.
of them saying, we've always represented ourselves as the American brand,
But where's it made?
but where's it made?
Where's the origin?
I
of-
sold appliances forever, and our Samsungs had more production in America than GE did.
Oh, let's not hit Samsung.
I'm an LG guy, so
I'm South Korean descent, and that kind of hurt my feelings.
well,
Samsung is a big thing for them. I'm just teasing. Teasing.
LG
Sorry.
is the Korean brand. That's first of all. Go to Korea. Everything is LG.
Okay.
Not go back to Korea. I don't want it to be misinterpreted.
No, and the
I
conversation's
love
been
LG
heavy, so that's
stuff,
good, yes.
and I'm not saying like, oh, they don't know how to make this, and we have to make it American made. And there's no undertone to that. Just my entire house is literally LG. I love LG products. They make them very, very well. But when I would have my sales rep come in from GE, he would talk about, oh, we have this rich American history. We're one of the biggest companies in America. We started in America, all this stuff. And then we had, I think it was Maytag came in because they did a real big American-made push, and then they got sued for it later because it was only like 4% of production happened in America, but they were slapping American-made stickers on it.
Yeah.
But he came in, he was like, GE doesn't have even a symbol in America. It gets produced in China, shipped to Mexico, assembled, and then brought over as a finished product to America. That's why they can't put American-made stickers on them.
Sorry, I blanked out there because I was trying to think what was north of me in Findlay and the surrounding cities.
Maytag and Whirlpool are out of Ohio.
Yes, thank you. Yeah. And I've been in those plants. So they're fantastic, and they're so understaffed, it's not even funny.
And Whirlpool also makes a great product. This is a weird rant for me to go on. I have intimate knowledge about household appliances, though.
Get 'em.
Whirlpool makes a fantastic product. They own Maytag, and I think they bought Kenmore when Sears started going out of business and selling assets, because they had made the washers and dryers for Kenmore for a long time. But you know who like very subtly makes terrible appliances and you wouldn't think it? Sony. Sony
What?
makes awful appliances.
Like what appliance?
Washers and dryers, refrigerators. I don't think I ever got any kitchen stuff in from them, but
Like, are you serious right now?
yeah.
Like, stay in your lane, bro. Like, there are certain things that you want to say to companies, like, stay in your lane for real.
Guys, if I come up dead, I have ill ambitions for my life.
No, but all of this stuff, like, we're talking about a revolution that needs to happen. It's primed to happen. You're watching all of, and again, not talking bad about any of the manufacturing facilities. They are just terrified to invest in someone that they don't know, meaning the integrators.
Right.
And you're giving them a lot of money to hopefully turn out a solution. And that is really where the holdup is in automation.
They're also in automation.
Yes.
People are also very scared to invest in something. And you said you don't pay attention to the political landscape. And I am so, I don't even know if I'm so liberal or so conservative, but my view of the government, I used to say schools and roads and that's it. I'm down to just roads. Let's give them one project. I don't need art therapies funded by the government. I don't need them deciding who can open a business and who can't. This is going to be whatever. I'll just take the flack. I don't need Social Security. I have 401k. That's my own personal responsibility, but it's also my responsibility that, Jeff, if you're my neighbor and you don't have Social Security and you get forced into retirement early, I need to take care of you. I truly believe
and
that.
you talked about that. You've been talking about that a lot lately.
I truly believe
community
that.
of people.
The government is evil and I hate it. But a lot of people are really worried to invest in, we're bringing this back when in 4 years that entire infrastructure could go away because it doesn't matter if they're Republican or Democrat. They
Things
could get
will
into
change
office
based on feelings.
and they could say, you know what, actually, I really like Canada. We're going to open up. We're going to give them 0 tariffs and we're going to pay them 120% in tariffs. Anything that gets and I get what you're anything
saying.
can
Yeah.
switch. So when
Yeah.
we go and we approach people, we've had a very recent project that we were kind of working on, and it was like, wow, you're really going to charge us that much for this project? And they were like, yeah, well, we're going to be building up all this infrastructure and stuff if the manufacturing push lasts, and then your prices will drop. And it's like, they were like they're still selling on the idea that American manufacturing is coming back, but they're terrified.
They're terrified
to build the infrastructure right now.
Yes, and I think COVID did a lot of things, and not the political side of things. COVID changed the manufacturing world immensely. It changed logistics immensely.
Right.
Like to the point where we are still feeling effects of those decisions.
Yep.
And companies realized certain things that they don't. Sorry, I spit at you. They realized certain things that they don't have to do anymore. And there were some good things that came out of it, and then there were some horrible things that came out of it. And I guess that's the point I'm trying to make. Like, and I got so excited about it because I think the things that are left unsaid are the things that do the most damage. Honestly. That is what I want the message of today to be, that the world is primed for real manufacturing.
Yeah.
Not this beautiful hot word, let's use robots here because robots are cool. No, make your operators, and this is how I sell it, make your operators now, or make your laborers operators, and then make your operators supervisors. You watch someone come up, and I think whether it was today or previous, you watch someone start somewhere and then rise to a position that they had to earn. They work differently.
Yep.
They speak differently.
Right.
They walk differently. Not only does
People
it
below them pay attention to them differently.
like they made it. And then you take this walk down a passion and a pride for what they do. It is no longer just an assembly line. It's their life.
Right.
This is my lifeline to the world. Like I am a part of this. I am a part of your appliances that you loved or didn't like. Sorry, how can we fix it?
Well, and not to trigger anybody in recovery out there, but I love Jack Daniel's commercials because you can tell the difference between we're walking through a plant and, we'll get some good B-roll and like they get everybody from their plant out there and they're all smiles and happy and like that is a specialty craft. I get it. So people are probably going to be passionate about it, but like you can tell there's just something different about their commercials where it's like, oh, they actually enjoy what they're doing. They're proud to bring what some people consider a quality product. I hate Jack. It's not good.
It's not, but it's not Jack Daniel's itself. It's the pride in what you do, and because it's a smaller niche thing versus a wide breadth of I've got 50 million or I've got 20 divisions. Like it is what it is. But then like even talking and learning from the conveyor guys that we have at our company. Yeah, it's amazing to see. Almost like a rejuvenation in their excitement. Yeah. Like it gets me excited. And you talk about like, if I'm getting excited, that's a whole nother level of excitement. And I can talk about that. Yeah. I know that a bend is not a bend anymore in a conveyor. Yeah. I know a side rail doesn't just turn into something that touches a product. There's a lot of thought that goes into it. Yeah. I know that inclines have a chain pull now and all these things. And you wouldn't know that from a program. Well, because it does it automatically. Right. There's no critical thinking about systems. And then, like, you go to a company that lives and breathes and dies by what they do. That is what manufacturing in the U.S. needs to become.
We have near zero automation. Like almost everything we do is still 1960s. We have Fadals that are CNCs. Those are early 90s. We have one Haas we have the lathe and the mill Haas that are a little bit newer, probably early 2000s. But there's a big difference in manufacturing between a guy that walks in, punches a number, goes and then just counts down his lunch, and the guys on my floor that when I go to them and I say, hey man, we didn't get this part right, they immediately have 7 different solutions not because they knew they gave a bad part. It's not like they're like, oh, I know that. So but they're like, oh, if that's the problem, I've actually thought this through. Let's talk.
I've watched that and I thought to myself, hey, they designed it this way. I'm good. But if we did it this way, I think I think it could be better. That's how a good skilled worker in production really does work. And there are a lot of them out there. They're just not getting their flowers.
No.
They're getting stepped on because they're not making their line faster. You can't keep making things faster. And and that there's a lot of things at play for that. But the manufacturing, what I'm so excited to actually be here and actually honored to share my rants about my day job. I love my day job. My day job brings me this fulfillment of no days are the same.
Right.
Just because since we're on appliances, just because Whirlpool's doing it this way doesn't mean GE's going to, doesn't mean Samsung's going to do this, doesn't mean LG's going to do this. They all have their processes. So yes, critical thinking has not completely left, but it's not the same as before.
Right.
And this, you talk about full circle, however many minutes into this, makers and the community of the revolution of making something in your free time. Wow, does that have a profound impact?
Right.
Because you are now your own problem solver.
Right.
And I think Jason Knight says it best. What is it? Practical knowledge versus actually going out and doing it. Video knowledge. Someone like me, I had a way too much practical knowledge for the knife making world. And we've talked about that if you tuned into my other thing. I paralyze in decision making. Right. And that's why, I paralyze myself because I have a day job where I fear letting people down. Therefore, I have zero room for failure and being wrong. If I'm wrong, that's
a big mistake.
That could be a couple $100,000 that is now a monument and dust collector for a facility. I fear that and I feel that, which means when I'm going through my data collections and my meetings and all of the things and how I'm presenting things, I look at it differently. It's not just a data sheet. This is your road to your solution. And my making career, well, that's a wild way to say it. My DIY cobbled together making has changed my life in my day job because it's a set of processes that I still can't get down, but it shows me not to do it in my day job. And it shows me that I can walk into somewhere and I can pick apart an assembly line. And it's the coolest feeling to then go back to a conference room and talk about it. And they just look at me like, where did you get that from?
Well, what it does is it teaches you the difference. Me and Nathan and Logan will sit in an office and we'll say, this is how this needs to be done and this is how this needs to be done. And we'll come up with a great plan. And then we'll go out to Josh's cell and we'll go to build it. And guess what? There's a chunk of concrete missing from that section. Well, now this whole plan that we just made falls apart.
Yeah.
When I first got here, and not to put Nathan and Logan on blast, but when I first got here, all I would hear about is I would go and I'd say, hey, how does this need to be done? They'd say, well, like in theory, this. And I got so tired of in theory because I would go to try to do it and I'd say, well, I can't do that because our screwdriver's too short, or I can't do that because there's a chunk of concrete missing there. I can't do that because electricity's not run there, or I can't. There was so much in theory.
Yes.
That now, anytime it doesn't matter if it works in theory, does it work practically? And you can't do that if you're not on the floor, like you said, walking the facility. Okay, I would design this. That's not load bearing. I cannot put a machine under that. Like whatever.
Yeah.
The case is, in theory, is what we operate in as a society today.
Yes.
Is in theory, we have all of the facts. We have all of the facts. So in theory, this is what works.
Every spreadsheet is right.
In practicality, none of it works because we have none of the knowledge. We have none of the foresight.
Correct.
We have none of the in position logic.
We can't actually put that together because it doesn't fit.
So if we can get more people like you, not to toot your horn, we should probably wrap up. It's probably his bedtime. If we can get more people like you that are excited about supporting communities and not just getting a paycheck for a machine in your position where they can walk in and say, where are your employees hurting at?
Yes.
Because I'll tell you right now, one of my biggest struggles is, and it's so simple, pallets.
Actually, there's a good solution for that.
And
we can talk about it after.
We take this pallet, We unload it, we put it here, and then this pallet sits here until we bring in the next pallet. Well, now that's in the way, so I'll move that one out of the way, but then that pallet sits there. But then all those parts just got loaded over here and then built into something that went onto another pallet. Now that pallet's just sitting there. And once a week, I have to send Hayden, God bless his he'll do anything for me soul. Hey, what do you want me to do? Trash cans, which is always going to be a problem, unless I can just install incinerators. I've thought about it. And pallets. Trash cans and pallets. It's like, that's just an ongoing battle.
Yeah.
Which, once again, incinerators would take care of. I think we need to install incinerators.
OSHA will not approve that, just so you know. Unless you have a wonderful sprinkler system, which if they don't have it, is actually a crazy engineered solution that has more depth and breadth than you could imagine.
This place used to build coffins and work with wood, so I'm sure they have a sprinkler system.
Is it
I've never
updated
actually
to
looked.
code today?
Didn't OSHA just get like majorly defunded so that I can do my job properly?
I have no idea. See, and those are the things. I should probably look at some of the news better, but I literally I base things, actually, truthfully, I base things off of how the knife making community and the blacksmithing community have taught me to look at the project and the problem.
Yeah.
Go to it. Mm-hmm. Go find the work, do the work. Actually, you couldn't describe that better in that moment. And it's like,
Evan, pull it up.
Do it.
Guys, I love you, Jeff.
We done.
We need to get out of here.
Yes.
You made it all the way to the end. We usually do this at the beginning, but we finally launched the Fehrenbach collab. This is Kurt's logo with my favorite thing he's ever said. We've made it our mantra around the shop. Find the work, do the work. What's the giveaway, Jeff?
It's going to be the shirt.
Well, no. What do they need to do to get the shirt? I'm going to let you decide.
Tell us your favorite story of how you joined your community.
How'd you get involved? Let us know how you get involved.
Yes.
Instagram stories, tag us, comment on Facebook, comment on Instagram, comment on Apple Music, comment on Spotify, whatever. We'll check all the comments, and somebody will be getting a beautiful, what we're referring to at the shop as the Kurt shirt.
Jeff is going to do a live stream giveaway.
I'm in, and I've learned a lot about live streams. We're going to have multiple cameras running.
Also, shout out Kurt. He's genuinely just the best. All right. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Jeff, for joining.
Thanks for having me. It was
I
a
really
blast.
appreciate you.
Yeah. Thank you so much. We'll see you guys.
Okay. Bye.